Nobody does fall better than Whole Foods Market. The Spice Up Autumn event is happening now. Save on animal welfare certified beef top sirloin steak, perfect with gravy for a comforting meal. Find savings on organic Honeycrisp apples and organic pears. Then visit the bakery department for their limited time pumpkin butter chai cake. And while you can, level up your fridge with fall wine, beers, and ciders. Spice Up Autumn at Whole Foods Market. Terms apply. Must be 21 plus. Please drink responsibly.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Bear Boat Alaska. Up your DIY hunting game with one of their 37-foot adventure yachts. You and 5 of your friends can hunt, fish, set crab pots, shrimp pots, and take DIY to the next level. Bear Boat Alaska is locally owned by a Ketchikan resident who lives here year-round. Call Larry at 907-617-4542 or go to bearboatalaska.com. That's B-A-R-E boatalaska.com and tell Larry you heard about it on this podcast. All right, welcome back to the podcast. I have Danny Lehr. He is the co-founder of Caffeine and Kilos, former teaching buddy of mine, and pretty much the, I don't know, I wouldn't say personal coach because you do coaching, and so that would mean that I am a client of yours, but I'm not a client of yours. But every suggestion that you give me regarding what to do as far as writing goes, start a blog, start a podcast, whatever, I just do what you tell me. So I appreciate that. Welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks, Jeff. What's the worst advice I've given you? What have I recommended that crashed and burned? Or just like what's terrible, didn't even try it?
I don't think I haven't tried anything. I think it's always been with the thought of you might as well try it. And even when Derek was filleting that fish and he was doing a bad job, you said, if you're doing a bad job, you might as well finish. Like that sort of attitude, I think, has been something it's always been good and impactful. And I think one of the coolest things, that I've really incorporated this into my teaching, is the focus words rather than like a New Year's resolution. So I had kids do focus words, and a week into the new year this year, a kid got caught cheating. And so I said, really, really good kid. And so I said, what was your focus word? And she said, discipline. I thought, sometimes these focus words that can be applicable across all elements of our lives, we don't see opportunities to be disciplined. And explain to me how your focus word would have applied in this case. And she said, I should have been disciplined, and I did the work, and this person didn't, and I shouldn't have bailed them out. I thought, exactly, perfect.
Yeah.
What's you got a focus word for this year?
My word for this year is focus.
Why is it?
It's the most literal focus word. Yeah. Focus. And that, I don't even know if it's funny, like these words, I think sometimes people try to find like the perfect one. And the truth is, like, as long as it makes sense to you, that's all that matters, right? So mine is focused. I don't know. Maybe it could be more of like a mindfulness or whatever type thing. It's just so, but what, right? Like focus. It's just so easy to get distracted with work. Like there's, I have this business coach who teaches how, perverse procrastination, right? So like, when you're doing things that seem productive, right, but are really just not doing the important things. So like, for example, 90% of the time your email inbox is open on your computer, you are wasting time, right? It's like there's something that's important that you need to do, right? That's going to make a bigger difference, but it's maybe it's not fun, or it's not exciting, or it just seems daunting, right? And so it's like, that's right. I better go check my email, see what's going on in there. What's not going on in there probably is that thing you need to do. Mm-hmm. And so, you could spend a whole day, checking your email and not really getting to the important stuff, right? So that's the type of thing that I struggle with sometimes when I'm trying to work, get things done, or just move something forward. It's easy to not do the thing that actually moves the project forward because it seems intimidating or seems not fun. Mm-hmm. And then the funny thing is, like, what happens, right? Like, not every time, but probably the majority of the time, 8 out of 10 times, you do the thing that you've been dreading, and it takes like 2 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
or like it wasn't that big of a deal. Oh man, I really should have just done that a long time ago. Anyway, so that's been into my personal life as well. As um, with the kids, or with my wife, whatever, just whatever I'm doing with them, I need to focus and do that with them, not be distracted, not get pulled in different directions, not, either if that's looking at your phone or if it's, whatever it is. So anyway, this year it's focus, kind of getting back to whatever I'm, basically it's I need to do a better job of doing whatever I'm supposed to be doing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or what is the actual most important task in my life right now? Okay, let's do that. Let's focus on that and not get pulled away in all these different directions by the shiny objects, which probably aren't going to make a big difference.
Yeah. How has your priorities and your focus changed a little bit? You and I used to teach together, and now we're in different
Mm-hmm.
worlds.
Yeah.
You built a successful company, and now you have some personal stuff going on as far as, you've done a whole bunch of little, you do speaking, you do a bunch of those things too. Your girls are growing up. So how is all these priorities stayed the same, but also changed as you're trying to grow kind of the personal brand, your personal brand as your life and your kids and everything else is growing too?
Yeah. Over the last few years, I haven't really put much of a focus on that aspect of things as far as like the personal brand goes, because of those other things, right? Like the kids and that type of stuff. Um, and so, I mean, that's really been the biggest priority recently is family things. And there's the business stuff, but um, I feel like business, as far as new ventures, or personal brand stuff, speaking, at some point I'm sure I'll write a book or a few of them. Um, and but all those projects are kind of put on the back burner because they're just not a priority, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have the main things are, Caffeine and Kilos, which is a big company. I mean, it's a small business, but bigger of the other things I'm doing anyway, and it has a big potential, right? And I feel like that's where I spend a lot of my business time and energy on that. And then there's the gym, which has been great. We've been open since 2008. It's profitable. There's, anyway, so that whole thing, and that's like my baby, man. Like that's thing is, there's definitely a connection there as far as, my all my friends go there,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's a whole different thing. Like that's important for lots of things. I really enjoy that really local impact and being able to do something local there, and that means it does a lot of things like sponsoring, local events and fundraisers and local soccer teams and all that type of stuff. And I think that's really important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's family stuff, and that it's, you have kids, and when they're babies, it doesn't really hit you at first. And then next thing you know, right, my oldest was in fourth grade, and, like Caffeine and Kilos started, she was a newborn,
Mm-hmm.
right? And now she's in fourth grade, and the way it happens. And it's become very clear over the past few years that these kids are not going to stay the same age. As cute as my 5-year-old, and as cute as she is, and all that, and sweet and everything, 5 years from now, she's going to be the fourth grader, and it's a whole different thing. Like I will never have children the same age again, right? And like these two children will never be this age again, right?
Yeah.
That's maybe a better way to put it. Anyway, and so, man, you just can't lose sight of that. And it's so then it's that balance, right? There's only so much time in the day. You only have so much energy. You only have so much effort you can put out, and where you choose to do that has a very real impact on your happiness and your future and all that,
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean that, you can't do anything. Like I still, things happen. Like I still do things. And there's still new business experiences. There's still a certain amount of coaching individuals. There's still, if someone did ask me to come speak and it was the right event or the right time, I would do it. But it's just finding the balance with all of those things, right? As far as what am I actually traveling to? What am I going to be gone to? How long am I gone for? What days am I going to work from home so I can go to an assembly at my kids' school because they're performing? It's just this balance that makes the whole thing. Also, when we started Caffeine and Kilos, I was competing in weightlifting at a relatively high level still. Well, for the last 5 years, that involves, training between 5 and 9 sessions a week, which is more than once a day most of the time. Just, figure that out there. But however, since anyway, I stopped that for a while. Basically, for the last 5 years, since my youngest daughter was born, I worked out like twice a week, like two to three times a week, period. And that's just what it was. It wasn't until a few months ago, like August or whatever, when she started kindergarten, and all of a sudden, boom, now I have more time in my mornings because those kids get dropped off at the same school. The oldest one's old enough, she can like reach the clothes out of her closet herself, brush her own hair, it's like all of a sudden there's, an extra 20 minutes in the morning. And so I've been going to the gym 1 or 2 more days a week than I had previously, right? Just like small examples of like, the way things change. It used to be, I'd be training for 60 to 90 minute sessions 9 times a week to 1 hour twice a week, right? Like literally exercising 15% of the previous volume, because something's got to give, and what's more important, and as long as you keep your health together in other ways, there's ways like, what's the minimum? There's this term in business when you're coming out with something new, it's like at the MVP, right? Like the minimum viable product, right? Like what can you release that will get the job done that you can then iterate on and improve on. But in the meantime, you can get something out to the market and see how people like it and that type of stuff. Anyway, so like everything in life, there's an MVP, right? Not most valuable player, but a minimum viable product. Like what is the bare minimum that gets the job done that you can then add to and improve on as things change? So for a while, that was my fitness, and I was still healthy. I ate pretty good. Like most people would probably never think that too much changed as far as like the exercise side of things go. But it's like, all right, well, I felt like the minimum viable amount, like if I could do 2 days a week, that's like, I won't go crazy. I won't turn into a total bad piece of shit. Like, I would prefer a little more, but like with other, responsibilities in my life, this is this is what works for now. Anyway, and then as things change, kids get a little older, they don't need as much attention in the morning, that type of stuff. It's like, oh, it's not a 2-person job to get these kids off to school anymore. Now, if 1 or 2 days a week I'm gone, and while the kids get up and are getting ready for school, it's not a big deal, right? And so life just kind of adjusts as you go. And again, I'm not doing as much speaking or as much like personal brand type stuff right now, but I'm sure that'll change in the future too, right? As like pretty soon these kids aren't going to want to talk to me, and I'll have a lot of time for that.
Yeah. After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plans shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
In the last 10 years, social media has allowed people to become rich or at least noteworthy by being influencers. In that time, it's also given rise to a lot of people who are just great people, like full-on, three-dimensional, all elements, just like what you were talking about. You're a business owner, but you care a lot about and you prioritize your family. Do you think social media has, I mean, it's obviously there's a pro and con to it, but for someone who's trying to maybe stand out in the industry, do you think that, I know there's a temptation to be something that you're not in order to amplify your voice or to be revered within that space?
Yeah, I think that's a real thing. You know what? I think two things. I think it goes both ways. As far as also, I think there's people who are amazing people who, without social media, no one would probably know of, or they wouldn't get the opportunities or that type of stuff, right? One example is there's this guy who's actually a brain coach. Like he's an executive coach, but for like thinking, like helps executives like think through things and actually is really like think through stressful situations and read faster and process information better and that type of stuff. And he also is just a really kind of like insightful guy, I think. And without social media and without some stuff like that, I think he would be relatively, and I don't think I would have heard of them, whatever different stuff like that. And so you get these people like that, or even people who are just, whatever, a fitness trainer and, have some pretty good insights on some things, but maybe no one would know those insights if it weren't for social media if they were just doing their thing, talking, maybe they're not super public. Maybe they wouldn't be searching out speaking gigs or writing articles for magazines. They would just be training some people. And those insights would kind of be stuck with those people. But this does allow that message to get out to a broader audience, right? And maybe they say some things and it gets a little bit of traction and it emboldens them to continue down that path, whereas normally they wouldn't, right? So I think that, yes, I think some people are trying to get out there and maybe be someone they're not in order to get that following. But I think you have the other thing as well. I think you have people who would kind of stay on the back burner who now are getting thrust forward. And the second part is tell that is with social media, and as far as that goes, is you're going to find what you're looking for, right? If you're looking for, you get a new hobby, you start, rock climbing at a local rock climbing gym. Your feed and your explore feed is going to be all these people who are, teaching lessons about that and doing that stuff. If you are, whatever, if you're looking for inspiration and positive things, you're going to find a lot of positive things and inspiration and that type of stuff. And the opposite is true too. If you decide that you absolutely hate somebody based on their political beliefs, you're going to get plenty of people supporting that, and that's what your explore feed is going to be full of, and that's what you're gonna find. So I think it is this interesting thing where people talk a lot about the negatives of social media and how it drives a wedge between people because you get caught in these echo chambers and all that's true. Those echo chambers don't have to be negative. They have such a negative connotation, and it doesn't have to be. I'm in this group of guys that we all just communicate actually through an app, through Marco Polo. It's like group video talking. And anyway, so then that spills over and we help each other out. It's like a business mastermind where you workshop everyone's problems, except for it's for life. Like we talk about like, hey, I had these kids and I totally jacked up the way I handle this. What would you guys do? And then we all kind of, it's not, we don't tell people what to do or we don't give people advice, except if it's based out of experience, right? We can give theories, but we make very clear, like, well, I would try this, but I haven't done that. But generally we try to speak out of experiences, right? Point of that is that, that group then kind of spilled over into Instagram and social media. And we there's like a Instagram chat with all of us on there. And in that thing, it's just posts and reels and stuff getting shared in there that are all positive things and things that will be positive for, fathers and husbands and just general like males in society and just things like that. But it's all like real positive messaging. If you go in that chat and scroll through those things, you would think Instagram's the best thing in the world, man. Like look at all those positive messages getting out there. And yeah, it's an echo chamber. It's an echo chamber of positivity and like doing the right thing and like loving your wife and taking care of your kids and all that type of stuff. Yeah. So it's definitely, life is what you make it. And I guess so is social media.
Yeah. There's in the hunting realm, there's a lot of people who want to get notoriety by shooting things. And so sometimes there's this panic and people might take unethical shots, which are different than illegal shots, but people get ridiculed and whatnot because they're desperate for the shot. And then also people want to have their name known. And so they'll tag a business or I'm wearing this brand, and so they want to get attention by the brand. And then if that brand then shares the video or gets attention by that, it's like an endorsement of it. Has there been times when you had to kind of clarify or define what you wanted Caffeine and Kilos to stand for, and then maybe not share, maybe not advertise a lifestyle that maybe someone was wearing Caffeine and Kilos? You're like, yeah, okay, I appreciate that we have feedback, but I'm not sure we want to go down this road where we're retweeting, we're resharing every single thing because there is kind of a line that doesn't necessarily represent us. Has that happened?
What's been interesting is, there's been a few times. Mainly, it has to do with, a lot of things are relationship based, right? So we're a sponsor of USA Weightlifting. We're actually the official coffee of USA Weightlifting. And with that, the guy who's the CEO of USA Weightlifting for a long time was a friend of mine. And he just stepped down less than a year ago. And anyway, there's then on the flip side of that, there is an individual who was a previously a weightlifter, is a weightlifter or whatever. Anyway, he was running this nonprofit. It was a fantastic organization. He would do this inner city and he would get kids from the inner city schools. They'd come there, they'd help them with their homework, and then they would teach them weightlifting and all the life lessons that go along with that, right? But like they wouldn't get the weightlifting training until they had their homework done first. And they had tutors there, and they would communicate with these kids' teachers and all this stuff, right? So it's a fantastic program, like, and totally free to these kids. It's a nonprofit and all that. So we were supporting him for a while and that. And then he started making these accusations about USA Weightlifting and about the CEO of USA Weightlifting and about other people within the organization that I know, not think, but that I know are false, right? Like, oh, no, that's not true. Like, that person does not feel that way because I know him very well, and I've seen his actions, and I've seen the way he treats people, and I've seen, whatever. And, oh, there's this other individual, this woman who at one point really helped this guy, and then he's like turn around and throwing all these accusations at her and stuff like that. And it's like, it's just not accurate. It's not, one, it's not appropriate. Two, it's just wrong. So then we had to it was unfortunate because we were helping out with this nonprofit and doing this thing, and we kind of had to like distance ourselves from that. We didn't necessarily come out and make this big statement. We think this guy's wrong with his accusations because, I mean, the truth is, like, I don't know, and it's not my place to tell someone how to feel. And if you feel this way about these people, that's your right to feel that way. I don't think it's correct. I don't think you're accurate. So I don't align with your thoughts on that at all. And so we just kind of had to shift away from that, Yeah. So there's definitely times like that. And, and part of that too is I am not accusing him of this, but some people some people accuse him of, just doing that and throwing out these accusations and causing big stink here in order to push his own agenda. Right. Because he was still trying to be a competitive athlete, to like push his own agenda for that. And they get some people are removed from Olympic teams and possibly open up some spots for someone else and maybe even financial gain somewhere along the way due to some misgivings or whatever, that may or may not have been totally accurate. And so it's just this whole kind of mess. And then you're in the middle of as a company, you're like, well, I support this organization and this guy has this nonprofit, which is a fantastic organization that we want to be a part of, but like, we can't do both, right? Like we cannot simultaneously like donate money for this guy to steward when he's saying these things about this company, which we don't, which we have a very strong and important relationship with. And I don't think they're in the wrong. Right. And so you do definitely have to navigate that. I found the best way to navigate that type of stuff is relationships, man, are the best way to go. Everything we've done with other companies and everything and other organizations, it's all relationship based. And usually just make a phone call, dude.
Yeah.
And the people that you want to keep those strong relationships with, you got to really make sure you really go out of your way to let them know that you're on that you understand, and that I don't want to say on their side, but that you understand and are supportive of them. Right.
Yeah.
And the other one, I think you don't cause a big stink about it, and you just kind of put some distance in there,
I think the wrong way to handle it, and we see that very often, is performative, just things that are posted that are meant to be symbolic. And you see that with products. Well, we found out this person did this, and so we're going to burn our Carhartt jeans, or we're going to burn our Patagonia stuff. We're going to do that.
Oh, good luck on burning those Carhartt jeans, man. I hope you got a torch.
Exactly. You can't do it. They are fireproof. They are firecracker safe, according to who you ask. But it's kind of it's something that is talked about a lot, and I seem to circle back to it a whole bunch, because I think you got to remind yourself, if you do have a voice, even if it is fairly small, like how do you define this experience? How do you define your role in the industry? And it does continually evolve, and these sort of things keep coming up, and the world changes a little bit. We got a lot of performative politics going on, and that's infiltrating the outdoor industry, the fitness industry, and there's new things to navigate.
Nobody does fall better than Whole Foods Market. The Spice Up Autumn event is happening now. Save on animal welfare certified beef top sirloin steak, perfect with gravy for a comforting meal. Find savings on organic Honeycrisp apples and organic pears. Then visit the bakery department for their limited time pumpkin butter chai cake. And while you can, level up your fridge with fall wine, beers, and ciders. Spice Up Autumn at Whole Foods Market. Terms apply. Must be 21 plus. Please drink responsibly.
And like it or not, and you can try to fight it all you want, but if you have a business or a company that is in one of those industries and these things are going on, what you do and what you say and how you act, somebody will notice. And so what do you do, right? And I always just come back to, I always just come back to the phrases that repeat themselves, because then you can never be wrong, right? So like, hey, it is what it is, or can't argue with that. Can't argue with that, right? No, but it comes back to the right thing is always the right thing, and that's it's like, what do I do here? This, that. Like, you know what, man? Just do what you feel is right. Make the decision that you would have no problem backing up if your mother asked you about it, and that you'd have no problem justifying if you had to, take a podium in front of 1,000 people, and you have to explain why you made this decision. If you feel comfortable doing that, or if you feel like you could do that, then you're fine, man. Just like make the decision that you really feel like you feel is right. And if other people don't agree, there's nothing you can do about that, right? And they may not. Then you just got to be okay with that. Just do the thing that you think is right, and wherever the chips fall, that's got nothing to do with you. And how other people feel about it also has nothing to do with you. Other people's, what's that? There's a saying, I don't know if it's like a quote that someone actually said or whatever, but like, other people's opinion of you is none of your business. like that, and that's really the truth, man. Like, if you feel good about what you're doing, how other people feel about it, I got nothing to do with you, man.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great way to close it. But I was going to ask if you have anything big coming up this year.
I do. In August, I'm going up to Alaska. I'm going to go shoot a deer.
Nice. I like that. I actually
Mm-hmm.
wasn't setting you up for that, but I was just kind of seeing what was going on. But yeah, we need to get that arranged. That'd be gonna be cool.
Yeah, we got to figure that out. I actually just got a call this morning of those guys I went ice fishing with. He invited me to go. They're doing border waters that we call, like the rivers between Canada and the U.S.
Yeah, a little canoe paddle.
A canoe thing where you got to get out and port it over sometimes to get back in the river and paddle along and to eventually get to some lake where you just hang out and try and catch living things. I don't know. And anyway, it sounds like fun, but here we go back to life. Like I can't do both. I can't be gone for 6 or 7 days to Minnesota, northern Minnesota, whatever, and then also go to Alaska for a week.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think you should read the book Lost in the Wild. It's about a pair of canoers that are up, I think, in that same sort of area that they get lost, and the density of the forest makes things a little bit crazy. I'm not totally finished with it. It's what I've been listening to while I've been painting the doors on the house and the trim, and so much painting and stuff going on. But yeah.
How funny is that? Of all the things you're like listening to right now, it happens, and then we have this like conversation. That's how it goes, man, all the time.
That's how it goes.
Anyway,
hey, thanks, man, for.
I think I'm gonna shut them. I think I'm gonna tell them no because I was actually with Dan Plata. He's the one who invited me.
Yeah.
Anyway, probably not doing that because I got deer to shoot apparently.
Yeah. We'll see.
Anyways, we gotta lock those dates down because we gotta lock those dates down so I can buy my flights. And then that way I have to go.
Yeah.
So the wife's on board.
She's also coming up to pack deer, or she's okay with you going?
She's okay with me going. She thinks it's a great idea because, as long as I just told her that I'm going to come home with some sort of meat stuff. She's like, "Oh, meat's expensive. Yeah, you should go."
Yeah, that's perfect. And just never mind the fact that you're paying a plane ticket to come up here, and then the license for the tag, it ends up making it a little bit more expensive, but you also get a great experience out of it. So
yeah, that's it. And she knows all that. It's all it's all good. Last thing, while we're still no, we'll talk about it later.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man, for being on here. Appreciate it. And we'll end this so we can talk about that other thing.
Yeah, dude.
Thanks, man.